Yo, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the vlogs. Today I'm going to be sharing some film pics I took while traveling in my latest vlogs. If you did watch, I went to Chicago, San Francisco, and San Diego. So I did take my vintage camera and I took some pictures, 35mm film. So I will be showing you all that. Enough talking. Go ahead and get started with Chicago. Let's roll the clips. Alright, first things first, so me and Kiara got to Chicago, used the train and transportation, so we didn't like Uber to the Airbnb, even though we couldn't even really check in, because I think check-in was like 3 p.m. or something, and we got there in the morning. So we did like this little bag drop-off thing, so we could just walk around freely. And one thing I really liked about Chicago was transportation, just so we don't have to Uber everywhere or get a rental car. And we mostly used trains. We didn't ride the bus too many times. But one thing I really like about trains is just how they look on camera and on film, especially because it's like this big silver object moving, and it just looks really nice on camera. So some of my favorite ones are of this train and just being in that train system. So the first one I have is like just these two trains intersecting, and I was like, yeah, I gotta time this perfect because I had to wait there for a while so I can get these two intersecting each other. But I really did like that one, and I took another one of this train coming in to pick us up. And then it's kind of cool because this bird is just like sitting there in the background of the picture. He's like the main star, and I think this might be the favorite one from Chicago. And then you kind of got the light coming in, and it just has these really nice shadows that you can kind of see and it's visible. And then you also have these blue that just really pops, and then you kind of got the pink in the background. So I just really love this picture. And then the last one I have is one of inside the train. So obviously when you ride the trains, you got to go inside. And we was in this empty car, or not really empty, but almost empty. And I took this portrait of, I think this dude was just riding. I think he had his bike in there. And I really like the way the brown and the blue mesh in this one. So that's one I wanted to add. But first things first, when we got there, we went to the Bean, which is like their kind of main, not attraction, but it's like their main, I don't know. It's like one of the main things to do there is go see the Bean. And we went to go see that, walked around for a little bit, took some pictures and videos around that, and kind of just explored the downtown area. So I got this picture of this Chicago sign. I think it was like a theater, or I don't remember. I just remember I was like, oh, Chicago, and just took a picture of that. So I have that. And then also whenever we was walking, we saw this truck coming out, and I just really like the color in the background of this picture. So I think it looks really nice, and you can kind of see the shadows and lights really well in this one. So I definitely wanted to add that one to show you all. And then one of my favorite things we actually did in Chicago was the architecture boat tour, where we kind of just learned about all the architecture by the river. So in this main area, you have obviously all the skyscrapers and buildings, and they just talked a lot about the history of architecture in Chicago, talked about the Great Fire there, and we just learned all this new information that was pretty cool. So I would definitely recommend you do an architecture boat tour in Chicago, or if you can't, then obviously watch my vlog. And have a couple more from Chicago I want to show you all, and this is from the farmers market we went to the second day there. So I always like going to a farmers market whenever I go to a new place, and just because one is, you know, usually a lot of good food options and people there, and just music and stuff like that. And also it's just somewhere to eat food. Who doesn't love food? And I took this picture of these people sitting on a bench down there. I think it was, I don't know if they were friends or what, but I was like, yeah, this just looked really cool on this bench behind these trees. So I took a picture of that. That's definitely one of my favorites from the roll. And I also have this picture of this tunnel. And I like tunnels just because you kind of see the leading lines. I kind of wish that this one had a person walking through it instead of across it, but you know, it is what it is. You take what you get. Then the last ones I do want to show you all is from this beach that we went to. And out there, it was just kind of windy, so we didn't really stay for long. But there was this family out there, and I decided to take some pictures of them, and they just looked really wholesome, and it was just like a really happy feeling seeing the product of these. So just got them playing on the beach, honestly. And then I kind of have one with the downtown in the background, which is really nice. And that's pretty much it for the Chicago pictures. I think Chicago's probably one of my favorite pictures that I have in a roll. And the next is going to be San Francisco. Let's roll some clips from that. So in San Francisco, I did solo travel. So this is like my first time solo traveling. First thing I did when I got there was go to the pier, and I walked around there for a little bit, but the main reason I was down there was to do this Alcatraz boat tour. But before I got there, I saw this huge Ferris wheel, and I decided to take a picture of that. And I really like this one because the colors really pop, and you just kind of have this really gigantic Ferris wheel with these little people in the background. So I really like that one. But as I headed to Alcatraz Island, I decided to obviously take a picture of that. And it's kind of cool how the water appears because it doesn't really look blue. It's kind of like this darker blue, tealish color, and then you kind of have like the island in the background. So I just thought that one looked really nice. And I also took a picture of inside the prison, but this doesn't really do it justice. I would definitely recommend you do an Alcatraz tour, or you can just watch my video and kind of see the things I captured while I was there. Next, we have just some street photography. So walking in San Francisco was a difficulty that wasn't anticipated. It was very hilly, so I just took this picture of this really steep hill while I was there. And also took a picture of the hostel I stayed at. It was my first time staying at a hostel. It was a whole brand new experience, but I definitely would do it again because one, it saved me money because I was traveling alone, and two, it's also just like a cool way to try something new. I was nervous at first to stay in a hostel, but I would definitely rate it pretty highly. I would do it again just because, one, I save money, and two, it's just good to get out of your comfort zone. So I took a picture of the hostel sign that I stayed at. I would definitely recommend this one. This one was my favorite hostel. I only stayed at 2 on this trip, but this one was the better of the 2. And then later in that day, I went to a park, and I was just kind of sitting there chilling, journaling, listening to music, and I just took this little cool picture of this dude playing with his dog. I mean, who doesn't love, obviously a dog playing? So I took a picture of that. And the last one I'm going to show you all is back at the pier. This was later in the day when I was getting like dinner and stuff. And I think I don't remember what it was called, not a calzone, but it's like a calzone. It was an empanada. So I got an empanada and some ice cream. It doesn't really count as dinner, but I wasn't like too hungry at that point. And as I left the building, I think it was called like Ferry Building or something like that, we had these cable cars coming up and down, so I had to like sit around there and take a couple pictures of that, and these turned out really well. I love the way the green shows in this first cable car and with the Perry Building in the background, and then also I have this other one where you can kind of see that the Perry Building is like the center focus with the cable car in the background. So I really like these two. It was a good way to wrap up the San Francisco vlog and pictures. But next, let's roll into San Diego. This is so fucking cool. San Diego is probably one of my favorite time traveling because I did this really cool hike, and I don't know where it was at, but I did this really cool hike. But I am getting ahead of myself. Before I did the hike, day one, I kind of just walked around, did some shopping, and as I was leaving to go back to the hospital the first day, I saw this like Shell gas pump in the background. I was like, wait, what is that? And I decided to take a picture of that, and it actually turned out pretty well on camera because it was nighttime. So I was like thinking maybe it won't show too well on camera, but it actually looks pretty cool. I took 2 pictures of that. The first one is my favorite though. But as I was kind of saying earlier, the second day I did do this hike, the Saigon Trail, and it was definitely one of my favorite hikes. I don't really hike often, but it was definitely one of my favorites. I'd say the difficulty was about like a 7 out of 10. I did fall like twice. It wasn't too bad, but I took a picture of the like mountains. I kind of wish the camera had a wider lens so you can see all of it, but it's okay. I'm just gonna show you a couple of the clips from my video. I took a picture of that, and I took a picture of when I got to the end of the trail and I was exiting out to the beach, the rock formation right here. And then I exited to the beach, kind of just walked around there, and this was a black sand beach, so it was like this black sand particles in the beach. I thought was really cool, and I found this like green grass, moss, leaves, or whatever it is on the ground. I decided to take a picture of that, and I was like, thought it was pretty cool. I took a picture of these people like surfing and just doing whatever. I think I caught a picture of this red truck going past, which looks really cool because you got this like ocean blue on one side and then a red car on the other side. And that's gonna wrap it up for the beach pictures. The last thing I did do in San Diego was go to the La Jolla area, and I really didn't spend too much time here. I did want to do this cave tour, which you can kind of see a picture of here, but the cave tour was like a really long line. I didn't feel like waiting, and you know, just before I was doing the hiking, that really tired me out, so I was like kind of ready to relax and not do too much, so that's why I didn't do the tour. But I also took a picture of the beach area, so we kind of got this beach in the background, people playing, and we also have, I think it's seals or otters or whatever it's called in the front of the picture. And then we also have another one with a seal and otter in it with the ocean in the background. But that is going to wrap it up for the video. I have some extra pictures I do want to show you all that I really couldn't fit into a certain place, so stick around for those. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.